On March 1, 1932, the United States awoke to what would soon be called the crime of the century. It involved fame, tragedy, and a mystery that gripped the nation. This is the story of the Lindbergh baby kidnapping. Just a few years earlier, Charles Lindbergh had become an international hero. In 1927, he completed the first solo nonstop flight across the Atlantic, flying from New York to Paris in his plane, the Spirit of St. Louis. Overnight, he became a symbol of courage and American ingenuity. With fame came constant public attention. Reporters followed him everywhere. Photographers camped outside his home. When he married Anne Morrow in 1929, the daughter of a wealthy and politically connected family, the two became America's golden couple. In 1930, their first child, Charles Lindbergh Jr., was born. To escape the glare of the press, the family built a secluded home in East Amwell, New Jersey. It was meant to be a safe retreat, private, quiet, and surrounded by trees. But in March 1932, that privacy was shattered. On the evening of March 1st, the Lindberghs followed their normal routine. Anne put the baby to bed around 7:30 p.m. In the nursery on the second floor, the windows were closed, the shutters latched. At about 10 p.m., the family's nursemaid went to check on Charles Jr. What she found was chilling. The crib was empty. A window had been forced open. A handwritten ransom note was left on the windowsill. The note demanded $50,000 in exchange for the baby's safe return. It was written in poor English, with misspellings, odd phrasing, and strange symbols at the bottom. Outside, investigators found a homemade wooden ladder, broken in 2 pieces, and footprints in the mud. The Lindbergh baby was gone. News of the kidnapping spread like wildfire. Within hours, the Lindbergh home was surrounded by police, reporters, and curious onlookers. The story dominated front pages across the country. President Herbert Hoover ordered federal agencies to assist. The New Jersey State Police took the lead, led by Colonel H. Norman Schwarzkopf, the father of the future Gulf War general. The investigation quickly grew into one of the largest in American history. Meanwhile, ransom notes continued to arrive. Each one demanded money, sometimes increasing the amount, and always signed with the same strange symbol. Desperate to get their son back, the Lindberghs agreed to pay. A retired schoolteacher named John Condon offered to act as a go-between. He placed ads in the newspaper, addressing the kidnappers directly, and soon made contact with a mysterious figure calling himself John. Over several meetings, Condon delivered messages from the Lindberghs and eventually handed over the ransom $50,000 in marked bills, mostly gold certificates that could be traced. In exchange, John gave him instructions on where to find the baby. But when the search party followed the directions, they found nothing. Weeks passed, hope began to fade. Then, on May 12, 1932, a truck driver made a grim discovery in the woods, just a few miles from the Lindbergh home. It was the body of young Charles Lindbergh Jr. He had been dead for weeks. The official report stated that he died from a blow to the head. The nation was devastated. The Lindberghs retreated from public life, broken by grief. But the hunt for the kidnappers was far from over. For more than 2 years, investigators tracked the ransom money. Because the bills were marked, any attempt to spend them could leave a trail. Slowly, bits of the money turned up in banks, gas stations, and stores. The break came in September 1934, when a gas station attendant in New York received a $10 gold certificate from a customer. Suspicious, he wrote down the license plate of the car. The car was traced to Bruno Richard Hauptmann, a German immigrant and carpenter living in the Bronx. Police searched Hauptmann's home and found more than $13,000 of the ransom hidden in his garage. They also discovered wood in his attic that matched the ladder used in the kidnapping. Hauptmann was arrested and charged with kidnapping and murder. In January 1935, the trial began in Flemington, New Jersey. Reporters swarmed the courthouse. Headlines called it the trial of the century. The evidence was circumstantial but powerful. The ransom money tied Hauptmann to the crime. Handwriting experts claimed his writing matched the ransom notes. Witnesses testified that he had been seen spending the gold certificates. Hauptmann insisted he was innocent. He said the money had been left with him by a deceased friend. He denied ever meeting the Lindberghs or being near their home, but the jury was not convinced. After 11 weeks, Hauptmann was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to death. Appeals and pleas for mercy followed, but none succeeded. In April 1936, Bruno Richard Hauptmann was executed in the electric chair. Even after Hauptmann's death, questions lingered. Some argued the evidence was too thin. Others believed Hauptmann may have been part of a larger conspiracy, or even framed. Critics pointed to weaknesses in the handwriting analysis, inconsistencies in witness testimony, and the possibility that the latter evidence had been mishandled. Over the years, books and documentaries have kept the debate alive. Was Hauptmann truly guilty? Did he act alone? Or was someone else involved in the crime? For the Lindbergh family, the pain never faded. Charles and Anne eventually moved overseas to escape the public eye, raising more children but always carrying the weight of their loss. The case also changed America. In direct response, Congress passed the Federal Kidnapping Act, also known as the Lindbergh Law. It made kidnapping a federal crime if the victim was taken across state lines, giving the FBI broader authority in such cases. The Lindbergh baby kidnapping remains one of the most infamous crimes in American history. Part tragedy, part mystery, and a reminder of how fame can bring both admiration and danger. What do you think happened? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more historical stories.